I'm old enough that when I first started doing internet stuff, I had people tell me that this internet thing wasn't going to last. It was too wide open, that it couldn't scale, and that everything was going to be dial-up BBSs. And they were, because that's the business they were in, right? And fortunately, they were horribly wrong. No one that I've talked with says you can replace great coders with AI yet. Right? Yet being probably the important part there. Some of the costs associated with running AI can be very flexible. That could make it unsustainable, right? It might make things easier, but at the same time, if you don't have the appropriate ROI, then it doesn't make sense, right? And it's the same thing like Google AdWords. You put a cap on how much your spend's going to be on a daily basis, right? Or week or month or whatever the time frame is. Until we have a really good control on our pricing, that's going to make it hard to adopt. There's other people that they're kind of writing prototype code, right? They're doing the vibe coding thing to build out clickable prototypes, right? And that way they can take a prototype and they can show it to somebody and then go, is this kind of what you were thinking?
There's a lot of stuff in the news here in Australia where some of the bigger banks are removing staff. And you're hearing about it globally, like you hear Amazon gets rid of 1,000 people, Microsoft gets rid of 11,000 or whatever, these like huge numbers of people just going away. But then you hear sometimes like one bank I think got rid of 400 people, but then they rehired 500 months later. And then apparently they're going to higher valued jobs or higher positions, I'm not sure. But it is starting to come in, especially I think at like that customer service level. Developers not yet because the tools are still getting there, but I think you've got this consensus across the industry. If you look online, so you look on X or Reddit, and you see anyone that's talking about vibe coding, you've got startups and entrepreneurs, don't know anything about development. This is the best thing ever. I can build an app and I don't need you. Then you've got the developers going, you're gonna have security problems. They can never write code as good as me. It'll never do this, it'll never do that.
There's these AI companions that you can talk with, right? I doubt they're gonna actually replace people. Like there are going to be people that are gonna fall in love with that thing because they don't think very far and they feel safe, but it's gonna take a while before the cost of that, number one, and the actual functionality is going to be seriously usable. Nobody's really talking about the fact that running all those AI queries is very expensive from an electrical perspective. Like it's completely anti-green.
It's as far opposite as green as you can get at the moment.
And nobody wants to talk about that, and they don't want to talk about things like Google had a press release recently. They're going to build a nuclear power plant to run an AI data center. We don't have to write machine code anymore, right? It's been decades since anybody thought about writing machine code. And so if you were studying that, you'd have to find the niche where you could actually get a job, right? I think computer science is on its way to being in that direction. It's not there yet, but we have a surplus of programmers right now. Everything you're doing in business is doing business with other people. And so the better you are at that human communication dynamic, the more flexibility you have versus all you can do is code. Somebody had an app up on, I can't remember if it was Android or on the Apple App Store, but people started using it and they discovered that it had some horrible security flaw. Now, there was only a few hundred users at that point in time, so early, right? You can nip it in the bud, but if you're a founder who doesn't think about that kind of stuff, you're gonna make mistakes. As time goes on, the AI is gonna become smart enough that when you say, hey, code me this blah, 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 it's gonna reply back and go, what about the security of the data? How do you want to approach that?